gentle note before we begin, we'll be touching on themes of emotional abuse and coercive control. Some listeners may find this distressing, so please take care while listening. We will not be providing therapeutic advice. If you are affected by any of the topics discussed, support is available. You can contact Refuge. The National Domestic Abuse Helpline is 0808 2000 247. Also Women's Aid and Mind. 5 minutes past 9 o'clock. But I'm very excited for this hour. I hope you are too. It is time to introduce you to my lovely, lovely guests who are here on tonight's Scandalous. Before doing so, a little context. It was World Mental Health Day just a few days ago. A reminder of how important it is to talk about our emotional well-being and to recognise the many ways people heal and find their voice again after difficult experiences. Today I'm joined by two incredible women whose work shines a light on exactly that. Christina Katsi, a teacher by day, author by night, princess entertainer at the weekend. Her debut novel, White Dress and Red Flags, explores the gradual, often unseen nature of emotional abuse and coercive control, inspired by her own lived experience and others, and her journey through healing. Alongside her is her mentor and editor, Soulla Christodoulou, an author and creative guide who has supported Christina through the emotional and creative process of bringing it to life, as well as being a published author herself, including 6 novels. And together we're going to be talking about storytelling, how creativity can become a tool for recovery, self-discovery and connection, and why these conversations matter so much around World Mental Health Day and beyond. Christina, Soulla, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's so lovely to have you. We had a little chat about this and finally you're here.
Finally.
Really, really excited to have you here and to talk about your work and how powerful creativity can be in our own everyday lives as well.
I completely and utterly agree with you. Yeah, thank you so much for having us on the show.
Absolute pleasure.
Yeah, I wanted to come on and talk about my upcoming novel, White Dress, Red Flags, and some of the amazing things you've just mentioned. It's a psychological romance thriller that follows Tina, who is a confident young woman with a passion for dancing, her career and life. And she's very close to her family, very successful, but she goes on a dating app and meets a man called Adam, who seems so perfect on paper, but slowly his charm gives way to control and manipulation, and the story shows how love can blur into danger and whether Tina can find the strength to escape before it's too late.
So a really powerful story.
Really powerful
strong
story.
Characters.
Yes.
And obviously your first novel, as we said.
My first novel.
Before we get really into White Dress, Red Flags, tell us a little bit about how you started with your writing. Was that something that you've always done? Is that something that you've moved into at this part of your life?
I started writing as a child. I used to write children's books.
So really started
yeah, really young. And later on, after I went through certain experiences, I wanted to write a magazine article to raise awareness to, well, women and men about mental health and about being in an abusive relationship. So I started off by writing a magazine article, and then that was with pen and paper, and then I thought my hand's not stopping. I can't stop writing. So I got onto the laptop, and here we are with 80,000 words later. Wow. Writing the whole story based on true events from myself and other women, and I was really lucky to share the experience with Soulla, who is my editor and a very talented author, she's guided me along the way, and it's just been such a healing journey and a healing process. The whole thing has been an amazing experience, and it's been quite addictive writing it.
Yeah, I mean the story itself is addictive, but putting the story aside, working with Christina has been an incredible journey, because what you come to realise is that there are so many people out there who are hurting, and they're hurting not just physically but emotionally, mentally, and those scars can take years and years to heal. So finding our mojo through writing, finding a way to kind of embrace that and lean into the hurt and find a way to kind of like wade through it and then heal ourselves through writing is absolutely incredible. Yeah. And we've had the most amazing conversations, you know, about how, you know, just one little thing can really send you spiraling into a whole different kind of like world and experience, one that you don't always imagine, and you don't always see it coming, and you don't also imagine it for yourself.
I think that's so key. You don't always see it coming, and that's one of the things that we wanted to raise awareness about: red flags disguised as green flags, and helping women and men recognize themselves in the story so that they can see that actually that's not a green flag, that's actually a red flag, but it's disguised. So it's knowing what the signs are. And that could come down to someone overwhelming you with excessive affection, attention, gifts so early on, just to gain control and influence over your life. And I think that is so overlooked with so many people. So I think that was something that we've been discussing, Soulla, as well.
Well, I think we're kind of conditioned with some of the movies that we've watched, or the things that we've been brought up. But that's, you know, that's a big tick for things like that. But like you said, it's often certain behaviours that, and I know from my own personal experiences, that I didn't realise were actually not great until after the fact, until I'd left that relationship and looked back and was like, okay, actually now I can see all those little things accumulated into something that wasn't very healthy for me.
That's exactly it. And all these little things that seem like little things at the time, as you said, when you step away, you can actually see that those are the little things that were actually massive things, and they slowly chip away at you, at your confidence, your self-esteem, and until you don't recognise yourself anymore.
And I think that's something that us two working together actually unfolded very slowly, because initially when Christina contacted me for support and editing for what she'd already written, I think it was about, was it 20,000 words?
It was 20,000, and you said, oh, this could be a really good novella.
And I said, oh, if you add another 20,000, that could be a novella. And then she went away and she added the extra 20,000 words, and then I read it again and I thought, she's really got something here. I could feel that she was beginning to unlock deeper themes and deeper experiences, and I could really...
I could have done it without your voice, because you helped me dive into, and you said, describe Tina's inner thoughts. Actually, that's so key, because you helped me express myself so deeply through paper. And Soulla, throughout the whole journey, has been trying to get my voice out. She was like, I just want you to get it out of you. And so you've just been amazing.
Oh, well, thank you, darling. And you know what, those 40,000 words then got to 60, and they're now, like Christina said, it's now 80,000 words, a full-length novel, and I can't wait for it to be out there, because I think so many people will benefit from reading this book. It's raw, it's gritty, it's emotional, it's very, very real. It pulls at your heartstrings, but it also pulls at it unlocks something in your mind as well. It makes you think, it makes you become more observant, it makes you realise that,
you feel really empowered.
Yeah, it does. It's kind of freeing, actually, as well. It's kind of freeing to think that, you know what, this has happened to somebody, but actually they've managed to come out the other side of it. And I think
it's that strength, isn't it?
That's the message. It's like you don't have to stay where you are. There is a way out.
I mean, I know through my own experience that it is those shared experiences when you're not sure, when your future is uncertain, when you don't know how you're going to get through something. Those shared experiences help you. They give you that crutch sometimes that you need to get you through those moments that are really tough and you're unsure of. And I think that is something really beautiful about the creative arts, whether that is writing or music or dance or theatre, because it can be so powerful, and it's not always words. Sometimes it's the feeling as well, and the energy that comes through that, and that empowerment. Which is such an important message, I think. And think especially like nowadays, it's so important.
So important, especially as you said, being a strong woman in the first place and then crumbling and not being recognisable, and then coming out and actually saying, I've been through like war in a way. It's a war, it's a battlefield in the mind. And I think that that's the key with emotional abuse. People can't see it, there's no bruises, there's no evidence, and to come out of that still strong is just an amazing achievement. And I know that you've both done that, so yeah.
Well, these conversations I think are essential because so that there is that awareness of what those things are, so hopefully you're able to recognize them in real time rather than a long time after the fact, and hopefully make the choices that are the best for you in those moments.
Yes.
But, and your book, I'm sure, will give a voice or be very relatable.
Yes, I'm hoping that people can recognise the signs. People might be in an abusive relationship at the moment and read it and think, actually, I thought I was okay, but I'm going through exactly that. I know I've spoken to women when I was in it myself and actually thought, oh, that sounds like me, and it helps you come out. So I think the aim of this is to help men and women, it's men as well, escape from these situations and not to be scared to escape and actually choose themselves.
I think shame, we kind of mentioned it off air before starting the interview. Shame is another huge one, isn't it? Sometimes when you go through things like this or difficult situations, I don't know whether sometimes it's the British thing as well, where you feel you have to deal with things on your own.
Yes.
I know that I definitely had that.
Yes.
Trying to figure things out on your own, and not wanting to burden others, but actually finding a way to let that out, whether that is through, like I did it through my songwriting and writing my EP. That was huge for me in my healing. I was able to channel that and transmute some really painful experiences into something that I'm really proud of now.
Yeah.
But just being able to speak to someone, even if it's one person, whether that's a family or a therapist or just someone that you trust as well, can be huge.
Absolutely. I think it's
helpful.
letting go, as you said, the shame, letting go of that pride, which is what a lot of us have been brought up with. Don't mention too much because you don't want them thinking you're weak.
That's very
very
different.
yeah.
I was going to say our culture actually is very, especially the older generation, oh, don't say that in front of your auntie, or don't say that in front of the neighbours. So I think that stigma kind of,
it sticks with you, doesn't it?
It sticks with you and it drags you down, and actually it's not helpful at all.
We are coming into more of an open culture now, I think, where we can talk, a talking culture, especially strong people, because we know that perpetrators, they will go for somebody that's quite strong and successful, because that's the thing that they want to destroy.
It gives
what
them
have they
power
got otherwise?
to chip away at you.
Well, that's the thing.
if you are
The
strong.
misconception is that it wouldn't happen to someone who's strong or independent.
Yes.
But actually, a lot
It's
of the
the
times
strongest
it is, for
people.
the most part, it is, because like you said,
They can gain something from it. They've accomplished something by destroying something so strong and successful, whereas if there's nothing to destroy when you're destroying something quite weak. And so I think that's really important to understand.
Absolutely. And
we are creating that more, which is exactly what we need to do.
We need to open up, we need to admit that things are going wrong, but also recognise that it's not actually our fault.
No.
We have been lured into this relationship or this situation, unknowingly, very often as well,
Especially strong people, because we know that perpetrators, they will go for somebody that's quite strong and successful, because that's the thing that they want to destroy.
It gives them power to chip away at you.
well, that's the thing.
if you are strong.
The misconception is that it would happen to someone who's strong or independent.
Yes.
But actually, a lot
It's
of the
the
times
strongest
it is,
people.
for the most part, it is, because like you said,
They can gain something from it. They've accomplished something by destroying something so strong and successful, whereas if there's nothing to destroy when you're destroying something quite weak. And so I think that's really important to understand. We are coming into more of an open culture now, I think, where we can talk, a talking culture, and we are creating that more, which is exactly what we need to do.
Absolutely. And I think sharing your experiences you know, is inspiring for others. You know, it does
Yeah.
give them, you know, a guiding light. It does give them something to aim for. You know, if she's managed to do it or he's managed to do it, then, you know, then I can be brave and I can do it too. There is a way out. There is life after whatever level of abuse it is, whatever kind of control it might be. And I think there's a lot of power in connecting with others who've been through similar experiences as us as well.
Absolutely.
Definitely. A community, a strong community where you're
Yeah.
able to share those things, whatever. And I think you've kind of brought it up as well, whatever stage that you're at as well, because it's not necessarily having to get to a certain point where,
No.
where you are in your healing is fine.
Yes, yes.
In that moment, I guess owning your story and
Yeah.
valuing yourself, like you said, Christina,
Yeah.
and believing your own worth, sometimes above what others will tell you. I
Absolutely.
think as well, it's really important, and something I think it can come with age as well. I think as you get older,
Yeah, maturity, exactly.
you stop listening
Yes.
as much to what others say, hopefully. But I think that's hugely important as well. It's kind of backing yourself. That's what I've found.
I think
as
that's
well.
it,
Yeah,
and listening
backing
to your own
yourself.
voice
And-
rather
yeah.
than everyone else's, because they're not always right. Even though they might be really, really close to you and love you, and they give you, and they mean well, give you the right advice, and you're close friends. But sometimes you do just have to listen to that instinct, because they don't know what you're going through. And I think it's so important just to listen to that gut within, and
Yeah.
that's kind of like a warning sign in itself.
100%.
Yeah.
We're going to take a little music break, but we're going to be back very soon to continue this very interesting conversation with Christina Katsi and Soulla Christodoulou. So keep it locked right here on LGR FM and digital. I'm back talking to Christina Katsi and Soulla Christodoulou. Welcome back, guys.
Thank you.
We're chatting all the way, chatting all the way.
Too
We
much
covered
to
some
talk about.
important stuff in the little music interlude there, so we have to kind of bring it back. And one of those things as well, we've obviously talked about writing, but Christina, you also danced. That was a huge
Yeah.
part that helped you in your healing. Tell us a little bit about that.
It really did. I started Latin and ballroom dancing when I was 19 years old, and I started with Mr. Anton Dubec, who was
you?
he was
Oh,
my
wow.
first dance teacher, and now currently dancing Giovanni Panice. So keeping the Strictly theme going. And through that, I have to say that, you know, even through past, you know, deaths in the family, when I dance, it helps you, it heals you, and there's so much. And I'm a primary school teacher at the moment, and I'm trying to bring as much dance as possible into schools, because it really does help children's mental health and well-being, and just makes you happy, and it's healthy. And I've just started Greek dancing as well, which is so fun.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's lovely. Yes, that's pasta. But Latin and ballroom has been something that's true to my heart. I have used it to help me heal, and I can't emphasize how much the creative arts can help you, especially in a time like this. I dance very closely with one of my dance partners, Bradley Taylor, who choreographed a dance about emotional abuse. It's currently on my socials at the moment, Christina Katsi _author. And he choreographed it in such a way that helped me heal. And the more I danced, the better I got. And I can't rate dancing highly enough.
It's really powerful, Christina. It really is. I watched that today, because it was
Did
only
you?
today
Yes,
that I've collaborated with you on that. So it appears on my socials as well, at Soulla Says on Instagram.
Yes.
But I can really relate to that, because I love dancing.
Yes, you've just.
It doesn't matter what mood I'm in. If I hear a song that's got that beat, I'm up there. I will be, I'm up there. I forget how sad I am, how tired I am, how fed up I am, how worried I am, how stressed I am. I will just get up, and you just feel that music, and it just fills you up, and you can just let go of everything. So you dancing and using that to heal, I can totally understand that. I mean, for me personally, I healed through my writing.
Yes.
I found that sitting quietly and just writing everything out by hand initially, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I have got dozens and dozens of notebooks filled with thoughts and ideas and feelings and memories and things that upset me, things that excited me, all those things just jumbled up in all these notebooks. And then out of that came my debut novel, Broken Pieces of Tomorrow,
which I just bought.
Happy reading.
Thank you.
You know, and touching on what Kat said earlier about using what we do to inspire others and guide them, the messages I got when that debut novel came out from women saying, you've encouraged me to look more closely at my relationship, or you've given me the oomph I needed to come out of something that was really not very good for me, or I've been thinking about changing my career and I've been so worried about doing it, but I'm going to take that jump, take a leap of faith and do that now. You know, all those messages. So not even necessarily about relationships and relationships breaking down, but actually what can come out of a broken relationship. You know, you can go on to achieve amazing things. Just because your relationship has broken down, it doesn't mean it's the end of your life.
It can be the making of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It can be the making of you. I mean, I went on and retrained as a teacher. I had a 10-year career as a secondary school teacher. I then left teaching and became an author, and now I'm working with authors as an editor and a writing coach, and it is just so rewarding to be able to give something back. And that's what I really love about what I'm doing, because most of the people coming to me, whatever it is they're writing, whether it's through something that they've experienced or whether it's complete fantasy, there are little parts of them in that story everywhere, scattered everywhere. And it's amazing to be able to sit with them and unpick these things and really get down to the nitty gritty and see a story become something amazing, and then finally a book that sits on someone's shelf. I mean, how amazing is that?
I wanted to ask you actually, Soulla, so when you're doing that, when you're working with especially like new writers, how do you hold space for them? How do you extract that emotional truth and help them bring that out in their writing?
You know what I do is I tend to, initially when I go through the manuscript, anything that jumps out at me, that pulls at my heartstrings for whatever reason, I underline, and then I highlight that as something that I'd like to talk a little bit more about with the original author, so with my client. And very often, most of the time, they're local people, so we meet up in a coffee shop. With Christina, for example, we did an epic 4-hour session.
Oh, wow.
So Christina came to my house because you know, some bits of the writing were quite delicate and personal. We didn't want to be discussing things, you know, in public. So I'm very conscious of that. But we sit down and we talk, and I very gently just kind of pull a little thread and give it a little tug, and then another little tug. And then eventually, if you're patient enough, people will open up to you. And it's about listening to what they're saying, but just as much picking up on what they're not saying. And then again, pulling at another thread and just teasing, you know, that information out of them. It's not always easy, and it doesn't always work. I'm not saying I'm this amazing person that, you know, people always open up and talk to.
That's exactly what you did with Mother. You pulled everything out.
It worked.
You don't need to say it, so let's do it right here. She's advocating for you, so it's fine.
But yeah, I think it's just giving people time and space and not rushing them. You know, if someone doesn't want to talk about something today, say, you know what, that's fine. Go away, let it sit in your drawer if it has to sit in your drawer for another few weeks. Go back to it, have another read, see how you feel. It's about time, space.
And feeling safe, I think.
And feeling safe,
whether that's with yourself in terms of extracting it, or with whoever you are sharing it with.
100%.
Feel that you are able to sort of say whatever it is that you're feeling in that moment.
Yeah, not to feel judged.
No, and I think that's what you did with me. You
Yeah.
made me not feel judged, and you made me feel safe. And it is very vulnerable, the things that I was talking about. And when I first started writing the book, it was almost like a massive brainstorm of all my ideas onto paper. It was like splattered. And Soulla was very polite and said, this book has legs, which I did listen to. I held on to that, but I knew that there was something more that we needed to investigate. And I think when we were sitting down together, you were trying to bring out, you know, Tina's inner thoughts, you know, in the book. And then she asked me, are you holding back on something? Because I feel like there's something more that I need to reel out of this. Are you scared to write this? And actually that really hit.
And you know what, when you don't include certain things in a book, and you don't have to include everything, I'm definitely not saying that, but it affects the pace and flow. You know, like music, if there's 2 notes missing, you feel it, don't you? Something doesn't feel right.
In terms of like authenticity, for me, that's always what I'm drawn to. Whether it's a piece of theatre or music, you can tell whether it's 100% coming from that person's soul. You feel it. And that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be very prescriptive of exactly what you've gone through. It's if it's coming from a raw place, emotion, that translates, and that can be.
And once you've expressed that, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the book. It's like, you know, writing the backstory of all your characters. That backstory doesn't have to be in the book, but it still brings something to the page because you know it and you've said it and you've acknowledged it.
Absolutely. And I think when someone does chip away at you that much, you become so numb that maybe you do forget to write these things down because you've forgotten how you felt in the time. And it's not until someone actually speaks to you and has a discussion with you about it that, you know,
I suppose you're reminded. Actually, yeah, I did feel like that, and I do remember.
Maybe it's something you want to block out, and it's not until you have that conversation.
I think timing you brought up as well is very important as well. Again, if I bring to my own experience, I wrote my EP and I took the pressure of time off, which I felt was actually the best thing I ever did when it came to my creativity. And I just allowed things when I was ready, like you said, Christina, to allow things to percolate and to come up when they needed to. And I think it's also like when you're in the struggle. Like I used to sometimes when you see people that have gone through it and they're great and they look fine, and when you're not there, it can be hard to imagine that you will ever get there. That you will actually ever be that person.
Yes. That
you will be at the end of your healing. I certainly was that at the time. The way that I was able to channel that, thankfully, was through writing my songs, through writing songs that I needed to hear to remind myself. But I think however way you find that, even if that's just sometimes maybe even just being in nature, if that works for you, or doing something that speaks to you or your soul, or just where you feel good, just finding those pockets, however small they are. Those
as you said, music is
joy or
healing.
Or I think looking like within. I mean, that can sound quite cliched, I guess, or cringy, but it's true. Like kind of listening to yourself. Actually, what do I need?
You know,
I suppose you're reminded. Actually, I did feel like that, and I do remember
maybe
doing
it's something
that.
You want to block out, and it's not until you have that conversation.
I think timing you brought up as well is very important as well. Again, if I bring to my own experience, I wrote my EP and I took the pressure of time off, which I felt was actually the best thing I ever did when it came to my creativity. And I just allowed things when I was ready, like you said, Christina, to allow things to percolate and to come up when they needed to. And I think it's also like when you're in the struggle. Like I used to sometimes when you see people that have gone through it and they're great and they look fine, and when you're not there, it can be hard to imagine that you will ever get there. That you will actually ever be that person.
Yes.
That you will be at the end of your healing. I certainly was that at the time. The way that I was able to channel that, thankfully, was through writing my songs, through writing songs that I needed to hear to remind myself. But I think however way you find that, even if that's just sometimes maybe even just being in nature, if that works for you, or doing something that speaks to you or your soul, or just where you feel good, just finding those pockets, however small they are.
As you said, music
pockets
is
of joy or
healing.
Or I think looking like within. I mean, that can sound quite cliched, I guess, or or cringy, but it's true. Like kind of listening to yourself. Actually, what do I need?
What do I need?
In
And you know what? We know ourselves best.
We do.
We know ourselves better than anyone knows us. We just need to listen. Sometimes it's just about sitting still and just listening and saying, what do I really want? How do I really feel? What am I looking for?
And that can be hard.
It can be hard.
Thoughts,
yeah, sitting with your own thoughts
it's
is
messy.
hard.
I feel like it's not, healing is not linear. It's it's not neat. It's not like, you know, you go to this point and then, or to this destination and then you're sorted. I think it's everyone's journey is different.
Absolutely.
And
the timeline's different.
you kind of have to be kind and like gentle with yourself.
I think so, and I think, Kat, you just said it, with arts is so important to heal through. And that can be hard to sit with your own thoughts.
Yeah,
you know?
sitting with your own thoughts
it's
is
messy.
hard.
I feel like it's not, healing is not linear. It's it's not neat. It's not like, you know, you go to this point and then, or to this destination and then you're sorted. I think it's everyone's journey is different.
Absolutely.
And
the timeline's different.
Kind of have to be kind and like gentle with yourself.
I think so, and I think, Kat, you just said it, with arts is so important to heal through. Another way I healed was through my Disney princess parties that I do at the weekends.
I mean, such fun.
It's
honestly,
so fun,
amazing.
and I've always loved performing, and I get to do it. Dress up, sing, dance.
That's pretty good. That kind of ticks all the boxes.
It just ticks everything.
Gowns, bright colours, all the glitter.
Who's your favourite princess?
I've always had Belle as my alter ego. It's at Snow Princess Party.
How about you?
Oh gosh, you know what? I'd say Cinderella.
Is it? I
love. Can you?
I can see you as a
Cinderella.
Your little pigtails.
Yeah.
Ariel.
Who are you? I was going to say.
Oh,
you've got the voice for Ariel.
Beautiful.
To start our own little Disney princess.
Maybe next time we'll come.
Next time, yes. I think it's really important to do things you enjoy.
Kind of like bring out that kind of playfulness as well. Isn't it? Sometimes I think as adults, like especially like here in London, we're always rushing around, always a billion things to do.
Yeah.
Kind of we forget that it's okay to kind of actually just stop for a little minute.
And I think when it's taken away from you, you know, when your creativity is stunted, for example, in a relationship, then you're released again back into the wild. It feels like you're a butterfly, and you can just do all that. And this is what life's about. It's life's too short to not live it and love it, and you know, experience the arts. And I keep saying that. And be happy.
Look after our hearts.
Definitely.
And be close to your family and friends, because they're the ones that are, you know, sticking by you throughout.
Yeah. We're going to take another little break and then we'll be back to have our final little segment chat. So lovely having you here, girls.
So lovely being here.
We'll be back with you in just a little bit. Keep it locked. LGR FM and in the studio with the lovely Christina and Soulla, and that was my little song.
I loved your song. We loved it.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you so much, guys. I actually felt
it's really emotional.
Yeah,
we were getting quite
emotional. It is emotional.
Well, we were talking about, like, I guess the story of it, and I always say, like, my mum was a huge influence in me writing that song, because you know, you go to your mum or to that special person who lifts you up, and she's that for me. And when I was sort of in the depths of despair, you know, go to your mama for some wise words, and you know, she was like, you know, you're a bumbulina, like, you know, you know, it's temporary.
Yeah.
You know, that you're feeling this now, but it will pass. It will get better.
Yeah.
And you know, like I said before, sometimes it definitely doesn't feel like that. But I wrote that song inspired by my mum's words, and also my little anthem at the time that I needed. But what I kind of really love about my song, that song, is, and thankfully I've lived that process now where I was the one struggling. I started to gain my confidence, and then what I hope now is to share that message to hopefully help others. And I feel like that's super important to both of you guys as well through your writing.
Definitely. I think this is the main reason I wanted to write the book, was to help others and help them to recognize themselves and signs that might be, you know, they might not know they're in an emotionally abusive relationship. They might not see them because they might be so subtle. And I think what I wanted to highlight was that actually, you know, they can escape and there is a way out, and they don't have to stay there. So it's really empowering women and men to escape and choose themselves and just feel free again, because some of these signs are so subtle, as we were talking about, red flags disguised, that you don't, it could be, you know, them when they get you to question your own reality. Oh, you're too sensitive. Oh, it's all in your head. Those are subtle signs of abuse that people might not recognize so early on, because of all the love that they were given at the start that lures them in, and then they think, actually, I've invested so much time in this relationship, I can't go back now. I'm trapped. You know. And actually, the message that I wanted to give to people is there is a way out, you know. And it is speaking, as you said, whether it's to your mum, and my mum has been amazing in the journey as well, and my dad and my sisters, my brother-in-laws and my nieces and nephews. I can't thank them enough. And I've had colleagues at work and friends, and now Soulla, who has just helped me like
Christina.
Heal. So I know we're getting all emotional now.
I'm getting emotional.
Bring the tissues.
I think we should have done.
We should have done, shouldn't we? We should have done.
In our fields, but I think it's important, and I think it is where you lean on those bonds as well. New and old, that can really uplift you, or sometimes it can be a piece of music, or it can be something that you read, if maybe you don't have that within your circle that you can go to someone.
Absolutely, it's so important to talk.
I think also sometimes connecting with people who don't know your past is very freeing as well, in terms
there's no judgment.
There's no judgment. They don't know who you used to be. They just take you at face value, and there's something quite freeing in that as well. And I find that a lot of the authors that I work with, who are mainly women, admittedly, I think they find it quite easy to open up to me, because I only know as much as they tell me. Yes, I tease things out of them, you know.
Put the pressure on.
No, there's no pressure. No. There's no pressure.
It's a safe space, a safe environment.
Think about this, or have you thought of that, or how did this feel?
It's the way you question and lead rather than take control, because you still give the voice to the author.
Absolutely, because it'll always be your story. It'll always be the client's story. It's not my story. I'm not there to change the story at all. No. What I'm there for is to make sure that everything is clear in terms of the delivery of the message behind the themes of the story, behind the characters of the story.
Exactly. And even though you're the writer of it, you might not be able to hear your story in the same way somebody else has, which is what you've been doing.
Kind of add the polish and kind of like wave my little magic wand.
Is fairy godmother?
Yeah, maybe that's who I should be. I'm the fairy godmother.
That's a good title there. So that's the fairy godmother. We've got princesses, we've got fairy godmothers,
mermaids.
I think that ties in very nicely as well with World Mental Health Day as well.
Yeah.
Having these conversations, giving a space for stories. Everybody's story matters. Everyone's voice matters and should have a place to be heard. Having this conversation hopefully aids to that.
And I think it's important that children are also able to talk about their feelings. And being a primary school teacher myself, I'm so passionate about mental well-being and mental health, and I think it's really important if we get children talking about their feelings from a young age, then you might not have any issues growing into adolescence and into adults, because as we spoke about before, it's been a bit of a stigma to talk about your feelings in case people judge you. And I think it's really important that we do tackle
to be open, and not be embarrassed to say I'm feeling sad today, or I'm feeling really panicky today, or
you don't have to say I'm fine.
You don't have to say I'm fine automatically. I mean, just, don't be afraid to admit that things aren't as great as they might look from the outside, and that inside there's something else completely going on.
And you don't know how much that one conversation could help somebody else. They could automatically relate. I know that's what happened with me. Somebody else had an experience, and I saw that in me, which helped me to escape. So this is why I want to do that now, and I know you're the same, Soulla.
Definitely. Well, I think it's so important. So please keep writing.
We'll keep writing.
Keep writing. Anything you can tell us? We'll start with you, Christina. With when white dress, red flags. When we can kind of
Yes.
get the full copy. I know you're still sort of finishing it off.
I am finishing like the editing bits, and I've got to send it back to Soulla to have a look at. Don't know what she's going to say about it.
Soulla's job's not done.
No, Soulla's. But we're looking at like early next year, I would say.
I
Would
think
you
probably, I would say maybe by spring next year.
Spring next year.
I'm hoping by sort of March next year
Yes.
we'll be able
So we'll
to.
be cracking the whip though.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Hurry up, get on with it. In the meantime, trying to keep viewers interested by making these trailer teasers on the Instagram, because some people, you know, don't read books and they think, oh, actually, if I see a little film, then that might get me more interested. So they're quite gripping, I would say. And
Definitely check out. We're going to give you our socials again as
Yes.
well. Before we do, Soulla, what about you? You also have your writing career as well.
Yeah, I'm working hard on my own stuff. Yeah, absolutely. I have my first non-fiction book about writing and about how to bring writing into your own life, being queried at the moment. So we will see who and when somebody picks it up.
Brilliant.
It's called Unveiling the Magic, A Journey into the Heart of Writing.
Oh.
So I'm really excited about that. And you don't have to be someone who wants to write a novel to pick this book up. It's anybody who perhaps wants to just jot a few ideas down. It might be journaling, it might be keeping a diary, it might be, you know, recording something that they remember happened with their mum or their dad, or, you know, an important milestone. But how do we kind of bring writing into our everyday lives and make time and space for it? You know, how we send it out with hope, hoping that, you know, it's going to reach the magazine that we're aiming for, or reach the top 100 Amazon charts, or whatever it might be. And then I'm also working on my 7th full-length novel, The Pastry Girl of Malta, which I'm hoping will be out by the end of next year, but we'll see.
Very busy. Very
Amazing.
Yeah, totally.
2026 looks like it's going to be a good year. Let's give you your socials then, because you're both pretty busy on your socials as well. Is that the best place to keep in the loop to get all the very latest?
Yeah.
Soulla says.
Yes, Soulla says on Instagram. If you want to connect with me through my website and my newsletter, www.soulla-author.com.
And there's a YouTube video that links to Christina Katsi _author as well, and a Facebook channel as well. There's videos on there as well. There's links in the bio.
Do check those out. It's been an absolute pleasure, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I know.
It's been like having a chat with friends. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been like having a chat with friends. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you for
thanks
having
to
us.
everyone for listening. It's been,
thank you.
I hope it's helpful
it's
for
empowered
people.
someone.
And yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Brilliant.
Best of luck. Check those out. It's been an absolute pleasure, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I know.
Thanks for having us.